Automation games. We've all heard of games like Satisfactory and Factorio, and those are great games. I enjoyed those thoroughly. But I have a few games today that I wanted to bring up because I think that they add something different to the automation genre. So yeah, here we go. Dyson Sphere Program. So the premise is you're set in a futuristic universe. Humanity's consciousness exists within a supercomputer called the center brain. This entity demands vast amounts of energy to sustain an entire virtual civilization. As the player, you take the role of a space engineer in a mechanized exosuit named Icarus, dispatched by the Space Alliance Cosmo to build an energy-generating megastructure, a Dyson Sphere, to power the center brain. Core gameplay loop is you begin on a procedurally generated planet, manually harvesting basic resources like iron, copper, stone, and oil. Soon you'll automate production by constructing factories, assembly lines, and conveyor infrastructure to refine those into advanced components. Automation evolves fast. You'll extract matrices, these special items, to fuel research, unlocking new technologies and allowing planetary and interstellar expansion. Energy needs are met by setting up wind turbines, thermal plants, solar arrays, or even artificial stars as your operations grow. With advanced logistics such as drone-based systems, you'll spread your industrial empire across planets and star systems. This culminates in construction the Dyson Sphere, or shell, a customizable megastructure encircling a star to harvest its total energy output. So since launch, the game has been expanded significantly. A mecha customization system lets you personalize your Icarus suit. The Rise of the Dark Fog update introduced a hostile force, the Dark Fog, attacking your factories, requiring defenses like turrets and energy shields. Bottom line for Dyson Sphere Program, it blends the strategic depth of industrial sims with galactic scale ambition. It's a dream for fans of logistics, optimization, and cosmic creativity, and it continues to grow with each update. It's definitely a game that's been on my Steam wish list for quite a while. Just haven't broken down and bought it because there's so many games. Anyway, lots to play. Captain of Industry. Now, this game I actually have put a decent amount of time into, and I really enjoy it. So, basically, civilization is gone. All you've got is a handful of survivors, a tiny scrap of land, and a dream. Welcome to Captain of Industry, a factory sim that doesn't just want you to automate machines. It wants you to rebuild society from the ground up. No pressure, right? So you start out on a stranded remote island with barely enough resources to keep people alive. There's no safety net either. If you fail to provide food, shelter, and medicine, your colony collapses. But if you succeed, you'll turn a desperate little settlement into a sprawling industrial powerhouse, pumping out steel, oil, electronics, and even nuclear energy. So the loop is pretty simple, like most automation games, right? It always starts with mining some coal, some iron. You smelt it down, use it to build machines and make more machines. But this isn't just a Factorio in disguise. You're also managing people, like I said before. You got to feed them, house them, keep them healthy, make sure the island doesn't turn into a giant toxic wasteland, because there is waste. They all produce waste. The survival element adds a layer of tension. So if you're not optimizing belts, and logistics, you're trying to keep an entire community alive. So as you grow, you'll be juggling fleets of trucks, massive conveyor belts, and even cargo ships. Yes, that's right. You're not stuck on this island forever. I mean, eventually you'll send out ships to explore and trade and scavenge for rare resources. And if you want, you can reshape the island. You can dig out massive mines, dump rubble to make new terrain, and terraform the island however you want. It's wild. The tech tree is pretty big. You'll crawl your way through basic diesel engines all the way to nuclear reactors and high-end research. And that moment when you flip the switch on a fully automated industrial network that powers your entire island, oh, chef's kiss. Just feels incredible. So what makes it unique? Well, obviously there's the survival mechanic. You got to keep your citizens alive, your colony. Games like Satisfactory or Dyson Sphere Program are all about scale and efficiency. Here, every decision carries weight. Strip mine too aggressively and you might destroy the ecosystem you depend on. Ignore your population and all the factories in the world won't matter when your colony starves. So yeah, if Factorio is your jam and you've wanted something a little bit different, lots of more trucks to transport stuff, more so than conveyor belts, yeah, try Captain of Industry. It's slower, it's more strategic, it's brutally punishing if you mess up. But man, it does scratch that industrial empire builder itch. Mindustry is a factory building tower defense hybrid that challenges players to balance automation, logistics, and survival. Again, with the survival, right? It's kind of a theme if you haven't noticed. But anyway, at its core, it's about designing efficient production systems while fending off waves of enemies that constantly test your defenses. The game takes place on an alien world where players control construction drones to mine resources, expand infrastructure, and develop automated factories. Unlike most factory simulators, however, efficiency alone isn't enough. You must construct powerful defenses to protect your work from destruction. The gameplay loop starts with simple resource gathering. Copper and lead are among the first materials mined, which are then transported through conveyor belt splitters, routers, and these resources are refined into ammunition, power cells, and components needed for advanced technologies. As production chains grow, so does the need for defenses. Turrets, walls, automated systems are built to counter incoming waves of enemies. Each attack pushes the player to refine supply lines, expand energy production, and scale up manufacturing to keep defenses armed and operational. So for progression, the campaign is divided into different planetary sectors. Each sector introduces unique layouts, resource availability, and enemy patterns. Completing objectives unlocks additional technologies such as more advanced materials, drones, aircraft, and programmable logic systems that are highly complex. What sets Mindustry apart from other strategy or automation titles? It's its deep integration of the automation in the defense genre. Players can design intricate supply networks that even write logic commands that control drones, factories, and defenses. This game also includes co-op, which is super cool, cooperative multiplayer, adding replayability and a variety of activities for the players to do together between building, or compete in resource-driven battles. So Mindustry has been praised for its accessibility, depth, addictiveness. It both appeals to fans of traditional tower defenses and players who enjoy the complexity of factory simulators like Factorio. The community also supports the game through mods and custom maps, further expanding its replay value. Gotta love mods, man. It just makes games so good. By merging logistics and automation with real-time strategy defense, Mindustry offers a unique experience that is both challenging and endlessly replayable. It rewards creativity, planning, quick adaptation, making it one of the most innovative titles in the automation and strategy genre. Techtonica is a first-person factory game. It's basically set in a deep underground alien planet. It blends resource gathering, automation, and exploration with a fully voiced narrative campaign. Unlike most factory sims that focus only on efficiency, Techtonica places you inside the world and asks you to dig, build, and uncover the planet's secrets. So the premise of Techtonica is you're stranded beneath the surface of the planet Calyx, surrounded by glowing bioluminescent caverns with only basic tools and a powerful mining device known as the mole. Your goal is to carve out resources, construct sprawling factories, and uncover the history of what came before you. As you explore, you'll unravel a story filled with mystery, discovery, and the remnants of past civilizations. The core gameplay loop is, well, obviously mining, right? Crafting, gathering raw materials, feeding them into the machines, and using conveyors to automate the production. Over time, you'll expand to more advanced systems, assemblers, and energy networks, and massive multi-level factory layouts. Exploration is equally important, like I mentioned before. The underground environment isn't static. It's vast and full of hidden areas, rare resources, and artifacts that provide upgrades. You'll shape the terrain itself, carving tunnels, opening new chambers, and molding the world to fit your factories. Progression is tied both to technology and the narrative. Unlocking new technologies and research allow your factory to scale, while the campaign reveals more about the mysteries of Calyx. The further you progress, the more powerful tools you'll gain to automate production at a massive scale, and eventually turning your underground colony into a sprawling industrial complex. So what makes Techtonica unique, right? So the first-person perspective, it's not Factorio style, it's more Satisfactory style. Using the mole to sculpt the world and re-sculpt the terrain is pretty cool. You can't do that in Factorio, and you can't do that in Satisfactory. So anyway, the game features a fully voice-acted story that drives the campaign forward for you, and you can build, explore, automate with friends. It's co-op. Yeah, gotta love co-op games. Techtonica is a unique blend of automation and exploration, offering the satisfaction of building efficient factories while immersing players in a mysterious underground world. It's a game that erodes creativity, curiosity, combining the addictive progression of factory sims with a strong sense of atmosphere and discovery. Foundry is the first-person factory automation game set in an infinite procedurally generated voxel world. It combines the calm creativity of building and optimization, and it offers the freedom of, manipulating the terrain, right? The game begins with the simple landing on an alien world. Armed with basic tools and guided by your AI companion, your objective is to gather resources, craft machinery, and begin the process of automation. What starts as a small outpost eventually grows into a sprawling industrial complex, like most factory games, right? Deep underground tunnels, massive open landscapes. The core gameplay basically is resource collection, mining ores, materials to craft your first machines, obviously like most crafting and automation games. Every block of the world is fully modifiable, and meaning the layout of your factory is only limited by your imagination. As you advance, you'll unlock new technologies that improve logistics, power management, and production efficiency. Research opens up more advanced automation options, letting you replace manual tasks with drones, complex conveyor networks, and energy efficient. The goal is continuous growth. Expanding production chains to handle increasingly complex recipes and larger scales of automation, like most automation games, right? So what makes it unique? Well, every block can be mined or built upon, allowing the terrain to be fully reshaped. It's first person, again. It's similar to Techtonica, but it's different. The onboard AI companion provides objectives, tutorials, and progression, and the multiplayer support is definitely there. So you can play solo or with friends. It's cool. Basically, you build a factory to ship stuff up to a space station and then sell stuff to other ships that come into the space station. Anyway, it's fun. It's a good game. So Foundry is a game about creativity, optimization, and the joy of building. But giving players full control over both factories and terrain, it creates the endless possibility for, design, whether you want to engineer a perfectly efficient industrial complex, or you just enjoy a peaceful sandbox. Foundry just delivers, and it's satisfying. Outworld Station. So this game is pretty high on my next to buy list. It's another automation game, of course, but it's one that's been sticking out a lot recently. So anyway, Outworld Station is a space station factory automation game set in the Tau star system. It combines large-scale resource management, interstellar logistics, and starship production with exploration and defense. The goal is to establish an industrial empire that spans planets and stations across the system. So as a newly appointed commander of the station of the Tau system, you begin with basic tools and a handful of resources. This small foundation, you are tasked with expanding operations, mining planetary resources, and manufacturing starships. Over time, your influence spreads from a single station to a network of interconnected outposts across the entire star system. The gameplay begins with simple mining and construction. Early factories process raw materials into components, which are then used to create drones, machinery, and basic ships. As you progress, automation becomes the backbone of your operations, with conveyors, production lines, and logistics systems linking everything together. Expansion is not limited to a single base. You can establish multiple stations across planets, connect them through wormholes and freighter routes, and build a supply chain that stretches across the stars. Alongside production, you will face hostile forces and environmental challenges requiring you to defend your stations with weapons, shields, and automated defenses. So as technology advances, production scales from simple ships and machines to highly advanced creations powered by antimatter. Alien artifacts discovered through the system provide unique upgrades, enhancing your stations, defenses, and fleets. Each step forward brings more complexity, more efficiency, and more power to your industrial network. So some unique features that I think make Outworld Station really just stand out is you build civilian and military vessels, so each with unique production requirements. You connect multiple stations with freighters and wormholes to form a galaxy-wide supply train. So like think Factorio or Satisfactory, it's trains, right? But this is like freighters and ships, which is cool. Collecting alien artifacts, which is kind of Satisfactory-esque, but it's different because it's in space, it's not on the planet. Anyway, collecting alien relics to unlock new abilities and station upgrades. And then you have to balance industrial growth and the need to protect your stations from threats. So that's obviously prominent in Factorio, but anyway, since its early release, Outworld Station has received strong positive feedback. Players praise its ambitious scale and the way it combines factory automation and interstellar logistics and strategy. It is often described as a natural progression for fans of the games like Factorio or the Dyson Sphere Program, but with a strong emphasis on starship building and multi-station management. So Outworld Station is more than just a factory sim. It's creating an entire industrial empire across the stars. By blending automation, logistics, exploration, defense, it delivers a fresh take on the genre. For players who enjoy scaling up production and logistics to interplanetary levels. It offers both the challenge and the freedom to build on a cosmic scale. So I'm enticed. So this last one on the list is not even released yet. At least it's not in early access, and it's not released as of the making of this video, the posting of this video. And it's kind of a blend of automation / survival exploration games. The story of Spacecraft sets the stage for the classic survival meets exploration setup. Humanity has fled through a mysterious portal after devastating wars back home, only to find itself stranded in a vast, uncharted galaxy. From there, the players start with almost nothing. Just a small ship, a fragile grasp on survival, and a galaxy of opportunities. What stands out in Spacecraft doesn't just simulate survival. It promises an entire living economy, fully customizable ships, automated industries, and hubs where players can come together and trade. Yes, it's a multiplayer game, like online. At least that's what they're advertising. I mean, in other words, it's not just a galaxy about you building a base on some distant planet. It's about building a presence in a shared galaxy. So let's break down what it actually is going to look like. At its core, Spacecraft revolves around 4 pillars. Exploration, so seamlessly flying from orbit to surface of the planets, scanning environments and discovering resources. Outfitting ships with modules, scanners, weapons, mining tools that change the way you play. Deploying extractors, drones, and factories to gather and process resources, turning manual labor into automated empires. And community. Visiting central hubs like Babylon 7, where you can trade, upgrade ships, and interact with other players. If it sounds like Factorio met EVE Online in a seamless No Man's Sky universe, you're not far off. And that's part of the draw. And that's why I'm drawn to it. It's touching on several genres at once. So ambition versus reality. Let's talk about that. So of course, ambition in space sims, it's complicated, right? Your creativity is the limit, but can you deliver, right? So we've seen games that promise galaxy of endless opportunities and possibility, only to launch half-baked or bogged down by systems that never come together. And to be fair, Spacecraft is setting up against some big names. But there are a few reasons for cautious optimism here. Shiro Games, the studio behind Northgard and War Tales, has a track record of delivering polished strategy experiences. They built games that have balance and depth and accessibility. And if you can bring that same focus to Spacecraft, it could avoid some pitfalls of overpromising. So yeah, I'm super excited for Spacecraft. First, the seamless transition of space between planet surfaces, no loading screens, no breaks, just fly and land. Yeah, that would make the game, right? It would help. So modular design of ships, which gives the players control on how they approach the game, whether as they're explorers, traders, or fighters. And third, the player-driven economy and automation systems, which create the kind of emergent stories that only happen when players build, trade, and compete in the same shared world. Yeah, that could create a lot of fun. So yeah, the conclusion is Spacecraft is basically shaping up to being one of the most ambitious early access releases of 2025. It's aiming to merge genres that don't always play nice together. Factory automation and MMO multiplayer space exploration, and then you wrap it all up in a galaxy full of mystery. Well, it's going to either succeed or it's going to fail miserably. So let's hope. If it delivers, Spacecraft could be the game that finally nails the dream of building an interstellar empire with friends. And if it doesn't, well, at least we'll have another fascinating entry in a long, complicated history of space sims chasing the stars. So needless to say, I'm very excited. And that is obviously an automation game, but it is a different type of game by itself. So I thought I could include that last game into the video because I felt like it was part of the automation simulation genre, at least to a certain extent. And needless to say, I'm excited about it. So the real question is which one of these titles are you going to dive into next? Because if I'm being honest, I think each and every one of these brings something unique to the table. Let me know in the comments what you think. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to hit that like button if you enjoyed the breakdown, and subscribe if you want more videos like this. Until next time, keep building, keep automating, and I'll see you in the next video.